So let's get to the core of this topic. L1 and L2, we have learned traditional finance, and we have also learned how to build portfolios. Okay, and of course, very important thing that we learned there, that there was something called efficient frontier, and which assumed that markets are efficient, investors are rational. So based on that, we build a strategy. There should be a good diversification. There should be trading calls, when to buy, when to sell, and accordingly execute your portfolio. One of the important assumption in efficient market was that we assumed that the investor is a rational economic man, REM. We understood that concept last week. So he would take decisions rationally. However, we know that in real life, the markets do not behave in rational fashion. And that's where behavioral finance comes in, that there would be a lot of prejudices and a lot of biases which would come into picture. So then these biases, or this behavioral finance, this is roughly divided into two parts. What are the parts? That there are certain cases where individuals will not behave the way they should have behaved. So this part we will call behavioral finance micro, because we are looking at an individual behavior. We would also look at what happens if the entire market do not behave the way they should have behaved, right? Biases. And then this part we are going to call as behavioral finance macro. So the reading that we studied today is directly a part of behavioral finance micro, because we would be looking at more of how individuals commit mistakes or commit biases. And all these biases, and this flowchart I want you to make with me, have been divided into two broad categories. The first category is cognitive errors. Okay, so cognitive errors are that you would maybe want to hang on to your earlier views earlier. You won't want to update or take in new views because you kind of feel attached to those errors or those views earlier. As against that, we would also have emotional errors. Okay, that at times you get maybe attached to a particular asset from an emotional perspective, and therefore you kind of feel hung to it. These cognitive errors in total 9, and emotional errors in total 6, or emotional biases in total 6. These are further divided into two categories. Okay, and that's where now we are kind of coming to the trickier part of the topic. So the first category is perseverance. Perseverance is that you want to kind of hang on to what you thought was true earlier. For example, you identified a stock, you said it's an excellent stock, and then later on, even if the new information kept on coming, things kept on changing, you still hung on to the earlier way of looking at things. Or the second one is how you processed information. So information processing errors. So out of these 5 errors we would have here, 4 errors we will have here, or 4 biases we will have here. The first one, in case of perseverance, is confirmation. Okay, so at this stage I just want you to write all of them, and then we would start discussing them one by one. The first one is confirmation. The second one is conservatism. The third one is illusion. Hold on a minute. The third one is hindsight bias. Fourth one, representativeness. And the fifth one is illusion of control. Illusion of control. Then we go to information processing errors. The first one is mental accounting. The second one is availability. The third one is anchoring and adjustment. And the fourth one is framing. The first one here is loss aversion. Second one, overconfidence. The third one is status quo. The fifth one is self-control. In fact, the fourth one was self-control. Endowment. And regret aversion. So once you remember these 15 biases, and once you understand, number one, you learn to identify that which one is which bias is being exhibited. Number two, what is the impact of these biases? And number three, how to overcome them. So once you learn to understand these three variables for each of the biases, then this topic is done. Okay, so maybe I'll give you a minute's time. Quickly remember all the 15 and then we'll see if we can recall them. Okay, so take your time, but I'll be asking you directly. So try to remember all of them. Are we done? Yes, no, is it done? Okay, so let's recall. Yes, let's start with information processing errors or biases.
Availability is second one.
Uh-huh. Yes, emotional biases. Uh-huh. And what aversion? Regret aversion. Uh-huh. Okay. Uh-huh. Yes, we're reaching there. Self-control. Yes, how many are we done? 5, yes. Endowment. Endowment. So it's going to be tough to remember. So in fact, yeah, as I was discussing, I opened up my notes, FinTree, and I was wondering how did I remember this stuff. So I had this stupid story with me, which I've tried to put in here. So we'll make use of this story and see if it works for us. So this is the main character of the story. The name of the character is Champu. And Champu has recently failed some exams. Okay, and his mother seems to be really pissed with it. So in the first instance, his mother or maybe someone is saying, Champu, come in their row house. Okay. Champu, come in row house. C, I, R, and H. Which one are these? Yes, these are perseverance biases. C is confirmation, then conservatism, illusion of control, yes, and hindsight bias. Okay, so that's how we remember this. So now in next step, okay, this gentleman Chappu, no, what is Champu? So because he's failed in the exam, he's saying that he is feeling really sorry, and what he says is, "Maaf karo." So this would help us remember the next four biases. Tell me which one is M? Mental accounting, then availability, then anchoring and adjustment, and then framing biases. Okay, and of course in the last step, he's sitting. We can see Champu here with his parents, and of course both of them are really disappointed. And what they feel is that this Champu is a loser, but with a wrong spelling. So this L is loss aversion, O overconfidence, S self control. The next S is status quo, E is endowment, and R is regret aversion. So what I want you to do is now write down this story and then see if you can recall all the 15 points with the help of the story.